Talking about the newcomers, Tom Seaver, we mentioned there are more news media representatives expected to fly into Montreal tomorrow for his start, his first in a Cincinnati uniform. And, of course, we also welcome the young left-handed reliever we got from the Cardinals in Doug Capilla. Rick Auerbach could well be in uniform by now. His plane was due to arrive late this afternoon, sometime around 6 o'clock. And Joe Horner, the left-handed veteran reliever of some 12 years in good major league standing, who has been at Indianapolis, will be joining our ball club late tonight and will be in uniform tomorrow. Joe, how about this ballpark?
It's a beautiful, beautiful stadium, Marty. Apparently there's a lot of work to be done around here yet, but yet the playing area and the seats, the fan areas, is really a beautiful ballpark and much nicer really than I expected.
I would agree 100%. I don't think anybody really prepared us for what to expect when we got here. We'll be talking about this park throughout the course of the series. There's an awful lot to talk about because I know we talked with the Montreal broadcasters when they were in Cincinnati last week, and Dave Van Horn, and he said the initial reaction, and you find yourself continually looking up. And I know that when I came out of the clubhouse, it was 3 to 4 minutes, and all I did was look up at the ring. All the seats are enclosed and protected from the elements here, although it, of course, does have an opening at the top of the stadium, a ringed opening, and pretty much is open as far as the field itself is concerned. But they're talking about doming this stadium, a retractable dome that is still a point of issue as far as the new Canadian government here in Canada is concerned, and they are expecting possibly that will be going through, and probably will have it maybe in the next 2 or 3 years. And when they do get that in, it's going to be certainly one of the finest facilities for baseball you can find anywhere.
Without a doubt, and we were talking with some of the Montreal people, and they almost rolled it up opening day here. I think they said something like 57,000, and for baseball, it seats just over 60,000, I believe.
We're set to go now as Rose stands in against Steve Rogers. First pitch is swung out, a high chop. Rogers waiting, bare hand, throws, and he threw it away. Threw it down past the Montreal dugout, and Rose will go on into second base. Steve really banged one hard off the artificial turf. And the ball fielded by Rogers with the bare hand, throwing to first, and really sail one over the head of Tony Perez. So Steve goes all the way to second. They charge a two-base throwing error on the pitcher, Steve Rogers, and that's going to bring up right fielder Ken Griffey.
Marty, I'd have to think that possibly Rogers thought it would be a very close play, and he had just a little more time than what he took, and rushed his throw over there, and he missed Perez by, well, a few feet, let's say.
Time call now as Pete gets a helmet to put on out at second base. The third base coach, George Sugar, running it out to him, and the batter will be Ken Griffey. The Reds, of course, trying to extend a winning streak that stands at 5 straight. They equaled their longest win streak of the season 2 nights ago, and coming from a 5-run deficit to beat the Philadelphia Phillies in extra innings 8-7. Rogers with a stretch, the pitch to Griffey, and that's taken for a ball low. We are considerable distance from the playing field here. I guess considerable is understating the issue just a bit, but I guess you've got to take the bad with the good, and the good points of this ballpark far exceed the bad points. Here's a swing and a foul out of play as the count evens at 1 ball and 1 strike. The dimensions here, 325 down both foul lines. The power alleys go 375, and the straightaway center field 404. Now, the ball really carries in this ballpark. In fact, in the first 40 games, they had first 25 home games, there were 40 home runs hit here. Rogers with a 1-1 and Griffey with a take on the pitch outside. Ball 2, 2-1. Talking with Dave Cash before the game, he said that there have been a lot of right-handed hitters that have hit balls out to right center, and then there have been some right-handed hitters that have hit the ball out right down the right field line. He said it's amazing, and comparing it with Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia where he played, he said it's very comparable. Pitch is low, and Rogers falls farther behind Griffey, 3 balls and 1 strike. Defensively on the infield for Montreal, Tony Perez at first, Dave Cash at second. The shortstop is Chris Fryer, and Larry Parrish playing in at third. In left field, Warren Cromartie. In center, Andre Dawson, and right field Ellis Valentine. Gary Carter behind the plate, checking Rogers Rose at second. Here's a pitch. And it's ball 4 low, and the Reds put their first 2 men on. Pete at second, Kenny at first. Joe Morgan coming to the plate as Chris Fire comes in from shortstop to get a word with his pitcher. Morgan starting out this road trip with a .292 batting average. He's homered 9 times and has knocked in 31 runs. The Reds beating the Expos 3 of 4 in the series over the last weekend at Riverfront Stadium, and of course beating them twice last Sunday to begin this 5-game winning streak. Morgan takes a strike on the inside. Billy Williams, our plate umpire. Bob Engel at first, Jerry Dale at second, and John McSherry at third. Runners at first and second with nobody out as the Expos infield plays up the double play depth. Rogers straightens up and sends in the pitch, and that's high. The count evens and a ball and a strike. Stadium 3-tiered. The lower tier is colored in yellow. The mezzanine level, I guess you could call it, is a shade of red, and the top deck is a very vivid blue. 2 on, nobody out. Morgan waiting on Rogers in the 1-1 pitch. And here it is. That's taken for a strike. Breaking ball, and Rogers out in front 1-2 against Joe Morgan. On deck batter is cleanup hitter and first baseman Danny Dreesen. Outfield playing Morgan around to right and deep. Rogers kicks and fires. Morgan swings and he misses. Steve Rogers chalked up his first punch out as he fans Joe Morgan, and now will be going to work on another left-handed batter in Danny Dreesen. Here's how to order Reds tickets by mail. Box seats are $4.50, reserved seats $3.50. Send check or money order payable to Cincinnati Reds, Box 1970, Cincinnati, and include 50 cents with each order for handling. Rose reaching on a 2-base throwing error by Rogers. Griffey walking, Morgan striking out. And now to Dreesen the pitch. Ball low. 1 ball and no strike. He's playing back-to-back day games after the series opener tonight. Tomorrow afternoon, Tom Seaver will be making his first Cincinnati Reds start. And Sunday in the wrap-up, it'll be left-hander Woody Fryman. Dreesen batting .272 with 6 homers and 36 RBIs. Rogers behind, a ball, no strikes as he pitches, and Danny takes this one up, ball 2. Dreesen had an excellent series against Montreal pitching in Cincinnati, going 7 for 18. He homered 1 time and knocked in 5 runs. The Reds threatening in the first inning with 2 on with 1 out. Hitting room for the left-handed batter into left center and also over third. Rogers throws, and Dreesen swings into the high fly ball into left center field. Making the play on it, Warren Cromartie, and that's out number 2. Dreesen a high pop. Cromartie coming a long way and almost caught that ball in straightaway center field to retire Dreesen, and now it's going to be up to George Foster to try and keep it going and maybe get some run production home. Foster on a batting tear has knocked in 27 runs in his last 21 games and has hit safely in 19 of his last 21, batting .354. Against National League pitching, a .313 batting average with 15 home runs and 49 runs batted in. He has only 3 RBIs off the National League pace set by L.A. Dodger third baseman Ron Cey. So Rogers bouncing back after allowing Rose and Griffey to both reach. He has struck out Morgan. He has popped up Dreesen. And now Foster makes Rogers play the waiting game on the mound as he steps in and out and now back in. Right-handed batter against the right-handed pitcher. The pitch is low and inside, ball 1. Foster's 15 home runs place him in a second-place tie with Dodger Reggie Smith. Jeff Burroughs leads the league with 16. Now the 1-0 delivery. That's on the inside corner for a strike. Count evens to Foster at 1-1. Good crowd here tonight as they come in to see the Reds for the first time in 1977. Rogers, a backward glance at second as he checks Rose. He pitches low to Foster, and the count goes to 2-1. The 49 RBIs for George have him in a tie with San Diego's Dave Winfield. We mentioned Say leads with 52, while Burroughs and Garvey had knocked in 51 apiece. So quite a logjam for RBI leadership in the National League, where at one point in the season, the Dodgers seemingly were running away with that category and other offensive statistics. Rogers stepping off the pitching rubber as Foster now steps out of the batter's box. This AstroTurf field, just like, pretty much like it is in Cincinnati, with slatting areas at home, first, second, third. Not the type of field that they have in St. Louis, where they have the entire skin portion of the infield all along the base paths. But almost exactly like the layout, the artificial turf that we have at Riverfront Stadium. Here's a pitch. That's high. So Rogers behind, 3 balls and 1 strike to Foster. Waiting on deck is shortstop Dave Concepcion here with 2 outs. Reds have been a hot club lately and doing most of their damage at home, a record at Riverfront of 22-12, and hope to improve upon their road record on this 6-game trip, where they have won 10 and lost 15 in 25 games away. Foster fouls back the 3-1 offering, and the count is full. 2 men out in the top of the first inning, no score. Rose will be heading toward third. Griffey will be breaking toward second on the next pitch plateward. The outfield playing him straight away and deep. Foster looking out toward the mound. Rogers checks the runners. Here comes a payoff pitch, and a line smash, short hop by Parrish. He's going to make the play to first, and the throw is in time to Tony Perez. Foster hit it a ton, and Parrish made a nice play as he backhanded that ball. In the inning, no runs, no hits, 1 error, with 2 men left on. After a half inning of baseball at Olympic Stadium, the Reds nothing, and the Expos are coming to bat. The Reds will be back at Riverfront Stadium a week from tonight for the start of a big weekend series with Los Angeles. Seats are still available for the Dodger games next Friday night and Saturday afternoon. Then after the L.A. series, the Giants are at Riverfront for 3 weeknight games and an afternoon businessmen special on Thursday, June 30th. Plan now to be on hand and be sure to purchase your tickets in advance. Reds failed to score off Steve Rogers. Montreal now will be hitting off of right-hander Jack Billingham, who had a very, very brief and dismal outing against Montreal last weekend at home, although was not involved in the decision, and so starts off this game with a record of 7 wins and 3 losses. Jack has started 13 games with 2 complete games and a .378 earned run average. Has won 3 straight decisions and 4 out of his last 5. Last Sunday was not involved, as we mentioned, in the decision in that game, allowing 7 hits and 6 runs in only 1 1/3 innings in a game that had the Reds eventually coming back to win 14-8. Billingham has not lost since the 17th of May, and I'll tell you, he pitched out-of-sight baseball that night, losing 3-0 to John Candelaria and the Pittsburgh Pirates. Montreal's leadoff batter, and a good one, right-handed batting second baseman Davey Cash in. Jack with a pitch and Cash with a take low, ball 1. Cash batting .291. He's knocked in 18 runs and is 8 for 15 against Reds pitching. On deck is Chris Fire. Here's a pitch, and that's off the plate, ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Billingham back into the plate, and is a pitch away from losing Cash as he falls behind 3-0. Cash, Fire, and Valentine is how the Expos will go in their half of the first. Now field, playing Dave to hit the other way. Big gap in left center and also along the left field foul line. Here's a 3-0, and that's over for a called strike. Jack last year a win and a loss against the Expos with a .225 earned run average, and he has just lost Cash to a walk. Cash taking his base at first as Billingham walks him on 5 pitches. Bill Plummer out to the mound. Billy starting in place of Johnny Bench tonight. John with a mild elbow problem that he could not get loose when he was taking some batting practice inside, and so he's going to be sitting it out, and in all likelihood will be behind the plate to catch Tom Seaver in his first Cincinnati start tomorrow afternoon. Chris Fire, the Expos shortstop, former Giant, batting .247 and .253 here with the Montreal team. The pitch to him is low for ball 1, so Billingham has thrown 6 pitches, and 5 have been out of the strike zone. Very dismal day in Montreal. It was raining lightly when the Reds arrived here by charter flight after their exhibition game in Indianapolis last night. We got in here around 3 o'clock. 2 balls and no strikes. Joe Morgan calling time. He's going to go to the mound. And we woke up this morning to some intense rain. It was raining off and on, finally stopped about noon today, and while we got a scattering of showers throughout the rest of the day, nothing serious, and this game right now being played under very overcast, threatening skies. Billingham having a bit of a problem locating the strike zone. To Cash, he walked. To Spire, he's behind. 2 balls and no strikes. The infield looking for the ground ball. The pitch, that's over for a strike, 2-1. Rose about even with a bag at third. Geronimo playing Spire toward the gap in right center. Foster well off the line in left, and Griffey pretty much straight away in right. Billingham throws to first. Cash is back. No score in the bottom of the first inning. The stretch and the pitch. Cut on and line foul off the right field line. Put the count to Chris Spire at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ellis Valentine in the on-deck circle. Billingham working very slowly. Checking in now with his catcher, has the sign. He comes set at the belt. And the 2-2 with a runner going. Swung on and fouled off again. This stadium, of course, nestled smack dab in the middle of the Olympic complex here in Montreal. For the Olympic Games, it sat somewhere in the neighborhood of 70,000. For baseball, they go to about 55,000. 54,416 is the precise seating capacity for baseball. And you can see the Olympic track directly behind home plate. And running out toward the foul lines in both left and right. There's a throw to first, and they almost had Cash coming back. Quite a facility, and as Joe pointed out earlier, still very much in the construction process. They have still a lot of work to do on it. 2-2 and holding on Spire. Runner holds, and the off-speed pitch is inside to the batter, so Billingham full on Spire. Visitors dugout located along the third base side. And massive dugout. Nobody can complain about not having enough room because they are absolutely tremendous, both on first and third. Again, a throw this time, a lob throw from Billingham to Dreesen. Jack behind the mound, 3-2 as he struggles to find his control here in the first. Montreal getting a walk to Cash, and now Spire waits on the big right-hander's 3-2 pitch. Here's a stretch. Cash goes. Pitches hit hard up the middle. Base hit center field. Up with it, Geronimo throwing to third as Cash comes in standing. And the Expos have him at first and third with nobody out for Ellis Valentine, their most prolific hitter. Dave Concepcion missed by inches of coming up with that ball because when Cash broke toward second, Davey moved toward the bag and Spire hit it right up the middle. It got through for a base hit to move Cash on to third.
Marty, Jack right now, as you pointed out, struggling and with his control really not missing that much, but get out of the strike zone and hopefully he can get it together here on Ellis Valentine.
This young man having simply an outstanding season, batting .332 with 10 homers and 31 runs batted in. Pitch to him is a curve low. The Reds threatened in the top of the first, but could not score. Montreal has Cash at third, Spire at first in the bottom of the inning. Valentine, a right-handed batter. Here's the pitch, and it misses outside. Ball 2, 2-0. Tony Perez will be up next. Dillingham sending in the pitch, and that's cut on and hit very high in the air, back into shallow left center field. Coming in Foster, and they can't find it. The ball falling. Cash scores, and Montreal takes a 1-0 lead. Concepcion, Foster, and Geronimo all moving in the general area of where the ball was going to fall. The only problem was nobody could find it, and it fell among them for a base hit, and a Montreal run is all.
We'll probably have to check with him the reason for what just happened. It looked like David had the ball, and he looked to Foster and then looked back up and couldn't find it again. And whether the lighting around the stadium has something to do with it, or it's just the fact that it's enclosed, like you say, so much, and then all of a sudden open, we'll just have to wait and talk to some of them and find out about it.
Valentine gets an RBI single. Here's Perez, and the fastball is low to him. Tony at .287 with 7 homers and 36 RBIs. So a walk and 2 base hits have produced a Montreal run here. Dillingham facing his former teammate, and the 1-0 is way inside, and he's behind at 2 balls and no strikes. Spire leading at second base, off the bag at first. Valentine, he's picked up his 32nd run batted in. Perez swings and fouls off the glove of Plummer, and it's 2-1. The bullpens for the visitors located deep along the left field line, the home team along the right field line. Right now, all is quiet in the Cincinnati bullpen. Dillingham struggling, but to his credit, that ball that was just hit, as Joe said, there could have been problems with the lighting or with the ring around the top of the stadium that caused problems for Concepcion, Foster, and Geronimo, but that ball should have been caught. Tony bounces foul off third, and Jack is even against him at 2-2. Crowd here at Olympic Stadium getting into the swing of things as they have seen their club put 1 run on the board, and with nobody out and 2 on, have the opportunity to get some more. Jack ready with a 2-2 pitch, and Perez strikes out swinging. Got him with a good fastball up and in. And we'll pause for station identification on the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network.
This is WMNI FM, Columbus, Ohio, inviting you to join us for the earliest and most accurate farm report in Mid-Ohio. 11:30 a.m. Monday through Friday with Ed Johnson and the Anglo Broadcasting Network, including the exclusive farm weather report.
Tony Perez, there's 1 gone, and the batter will be left-handed, hitting Warren Cromartie, the Expos left fielder. Rookie batting .294, has knocked in 17 runs. Dillingham looking at Spire at second, delivers to the plate, ball 1. The Reds with a 5-game winning streak are 5 over the 500 mark at 32 and 27. 7.5 games behind the Dodgers, a team that has just completed a 3-game sweep at Dodger Stadium over the Pittsburgh Pirates. Swing and a fly ball. That's into shallow left. Concepcion going back, draws a beat on this one and makes the catch. Cromartie is out, and they're 2 down. Here's the catcher, Gary Carter. Montreal at 26-32. They're 12 games behind division-leading Chicago, who had their 6-game winning streak broken by San Diego last night, but the other clubs that are their closest pursuers, St. Louis and Pittsburgh, could not take advantage of the defeat as Pirates lost to the Dodgers 3-2-11, and the Cardinals fell 5-1 to the San Francisco Giants. Dillingham will work to Carter, who's hitting at .268. 10 home runs and 22 runs batted in. The pitch. And it's a breaking ball that's blowing outside as Plummer has to go to both knees to keep that ball from getting through. Montreal not remaining outside of the trade market. Before the 12 midnight deadline came 2 nights ago, they've added a couple of players. Pitcher Wayne Twitchell, a right-hander, and catcher Tim Blackwell, both from the Philadelphia Phillies. 2 balls, no strikes. Had to give up left-hander Danny Warthen and catcher Barry Foote to bring those 2 newcomers to the Montreal team. And Dillingham and the Reds would be well content if he can retire Carter and end the inning with only 1 run coming across. But behind Gary, 2 balls and no strikes. The pitch, that's a fastball away for a called strike, 2-1. Tom Seaver's mound opposition tomorrow will be provided by the former Red Santo Alcala, and Sunday it'll be Woody Fryman against possibly Stan Bonson, although they might make a change and bring on Wayne Twitchell. Swing, fly ball, right center field. Geronimo and Griffey, and Kenny makes the running catch. Carter is out, and the inning is over. Montreal getting a run on 2 hits. They leave 2 men on base. And after 1 complete, it's the Expos 1 and the Reds nothing.
Found a place with plenty of space where nothing can go wrong. You're in the mood for fun and good food, and you brought Stroh's beer along.
Charlie, I thought we were going to have a party.
We are, Linda, we are.
But, Charlie, how can we have a party in the middle of nowhere? I don't see anyone around. Who's going to eat all this great food I prepared and drink all this Stroh's beer?
Just watch, Linda. You take 1 ice-cold can of Stroh's beer and...
No one's around. Throw a party and you'll be found. Anywhere, anytime. When fun's on your mind, it's Stroh a party time.
Look for Stroh's Stay Cold 12-packs or the Stroh case wherever you buy beer. And Stroh a party anywhere, anytime.
It's Stroh a party time.
The Stroh Brewery Company, Detroit, Michigan.
Well, if you still have some last-minute shopping for Father's Day, the Reds 580 Gift Shop has some great gift ideas for you. And if your dad's a Reds fan, then you're sure to find something for him at 580. Here are a few quick suggestions. The Reds watch, the Reds art print, Reds autographed glasses, or one of the many hardbound volumes on the bookshelves at 580. Stop by tomorrow. That's the Reds 580 Gift Shop, corner of 6th and Walnut, downtown Cincinnati. Open daily from 9 until 5:30. Down a run to Rogers and the Expos as we come calling in the second. Dave Concepcion will lead it off, followed by Cesar Geronimo and then Bill Plummer. David batting .307 with 3 home runs and 23 runs batted in. He had some kind of series against this club, knocking in 9 runs in the 4 games. Pitch to him is foul back to the screen. Rogers allowing Rose to go all the way to second to begin the game on a throwing error. Griffey then walked, but he then came back to strike out Morgan, got Dreesen on the fly to left, and Parrish came up with a nice play on the hard smash off the bat of George Foster. 1 ball and 1 strike to Concepcion. 2 balls and a strike, the fastball below the knees, 2-1. David swings. He hits one into right field. Valentine going back on the ball and then had to reach to the knees to make the catch. Valentine went back quickly and then reached down to the knees to pick off Davies' drive on a sinking fly ball to right field. That'll bring up Geronimo with one out. The Chief, after a torrid spell with the bat, has dropped off a bit, had only one hit and 10 times up in the 3-game sweep against Philadelphia. Still batting a fine .292. Checking his swing, and is that a foul ball, or did it get away from the catcher Carter? Have to wait and see. That'll be a foul strike. Here's Rogers with a wind in the pitch. Swung on, fouled out of play to the left. Well, the count draws even at 1 ball and 1 strike to Cesar Geronimo.
Marty, you won't believe what happened. A vendor walking up looked like selling hot dogs with a styrofoam cooler. The ball landed in the cooler.
What's the odds against that happening?
Pretty heavy.
I would think. 1-2, the count on Geronimo. Swung on, grounded towards short. There's Spire, and here's his throw on to Perez in time. 2 men out. Batter will be the catcher, Bill Plummer.
The catcher, number 9, Bill Plummer.
Plummer batting .163, has no home runs and 2 RBIs as Rogers bids to retire the Reds in order in the second. Montreal leading 1-0. Be in Philadelphia Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday nights of next week before returning home for an off day Thursday, and then bring on the Dodgers next Friday night. High inside with a fastball. Should Plummer reach here with 2 out, the batter would be pitcher Jack Billingham. Swing and a miss. 1-1. Fans who listened to our broadcast down through the years heard us remark constantly about the tremendous windy conditions at Jerry Park that prevailed almost all the time. You don't have any semblance of wind, at least you don't tonight. Maybe at times there is a wind factor in here blowing straight in, but certainly not nearly as great as it used to be in that wide open Jerry Park. 1-2, the count on Plummer. And strike 3 is called. Rogers got him looking with a fastball. Reds are out in order, 3 up and 3 down. We're in the middle of the second for Montreal. The Expos 1 and the Reds nothing. Jack Billingham getting ready to go to work in the bottom of the second inning, and will be dealing with the bottom third of the Expos batting order. Center fielder Andre Dawson, third baseman Larry Parrish, and the pitcher Steve Rogers. Montreal plating a run against the right-hander in the first inning, but Jack could have very easily been out of that frame without a run having scored against him, because the base hit that got Cash home was that ball that fell between or among Concepcion, Geronimo, and Foster when Cash came in to score. But 1-0 nevertheless, and it's going to be Dawson to stand in with a .272 batting average. 5 homers and 18 runs batted in. Young man had to like his first visit to Riverfront Stadium. Hit 2 home runs in the 4-game series among the 5 that he has struck this season, and had 7 hits and 14 times up with 4 RBIs. You talk to baseball people around the National League, and they really like the young talent that Dick Williams has at his disposal here in the 77 season. Curve is inside to the right-handed batter. Just a question of shoring up the pitching staff, and this ball club in a couple of years could be a real serious contender for Eastern Division honors. Strike is called, 1-1. They feel like they helped themselves picking up Wayne Twitchell, but a gamble nevertheless in getting rid of a young man in Danny Worthen, who at the age of 24 has got outstanding stuff but has been plagued by control trouble. Fastball away, 2-1. Montreal officials are quick to admit that if Worthen can find the key to that problem, he could become one of the outstanding pitchers in this league. Here's a fly ball hit along the right field line. Dreesen running to foul territory, and the ball drops back into the seats down beyond the home team dugout. Of course, Barry Foote, unsigned and not very happy about his plight here in Montreal, with Gary Carter being the #1 man behind the plate. Being traded away and figures to get certainly more playing time with the Phillies than he was getting here with this team. Here's a bouncing ball to third. Rose short hops on the turf and throws him out. Dawson bouncing out 5-3. Pete Rose to Danny Dreesen, bringing on the third baseman Larry Parrish. Well, the Boston Red Sox are at it again. They have hit home runs in the first inning, Fisk, Scott, and Lynn. And it's the 8th time this season that they have had back-to-back home runs. Pitch is low to Parrish, ball one. All solo home runs. Fisk is 12th, Scott is 16th, and Lynn number 6. 1-0 pitch. That's a strike call. Parrish batting .259, 6 homers and 21 RBIs. At the end of one, it's Boston 4 and New York nothing, and boy, what a big series that one is. Change is low, 2-1. Yankees a half game in front of Boston in the Eastern Division. That series starting tonight at Fenway Park in Boston, and already the Sox have put 4 big ones on the board. Swing and a miss. Strikeouts have been a problem for Larry Parrish. He fanned 8 times in his 15 official at-bats in the series in Cincinnati. Dillingham with a count of 2 balls and 2 strikes, and delivers and misses outside and low with a fastball. Full count. Rogers, the pitcher, will be up next. We're 1 out into the home second with the Expos leading 1-0. Parrish chases an outside pitch and bounds it down the right field line. He takes a turn, stumbles, and now has to put on the brakes. Parrish had a double in line as he chased the pitch away from him and slapped it between Dreesen and the foul line. And then just before reaching the bag at first, he stumbled and then was afraid to take his chances on trying to stretch it into a 2-bagger. Montreal has its 3rd hit. And now Steve Rogers being welcomed to the plate for the first time tonight. 4 for 40 this season. 4 hits, all singles. He's knocked in 2 runs. And the Expos expecting to lay a bunt down and try to move Parrish on to second. Rose drawn in at third as Rogers, a right-handed hitter, climbs into the batter's box. Dillingham checks Parrish. Here's a pitch. Swung on and missed. And here's a throw to first. But Parrish is back. So Rogers showing no signs of bunting. He swung through the first pitch thrown by Dillingham. Concepcion, Morgan, a double play depth. Dreesen holding against the leading runner at first base. Pitch. Rogers squares, bunts it foul. Plummer pounced on that ball right at the plate, but Billy Williams, the plate umpire, immediately indicated foul ball. So put the count at 2 strikes. Jack slowly coming back to the mound. He's come off the hill to cover as Rogers made contact, but the ball was foul, and so now Parrish will again take his lead, and Dillingham will be throwing in the 2-strike pitch. Here's a swing and a fly ball hit to left field. There's Foster. He makes the catch. Rogers with a pretty good whack at Dillingham's 2-strike pitch, but he lines out to Foster in left field, and they'll bring on Davy Cash for the second time. Cash walked and scored the Montreal run in the first inning. Just a reminder, the Reds downtown ticket offices at 580 Walnut and the stadium are open all day tomorrow for your convenience. And the Red Stadium ticket office will be open all day on Sunday. Stop by if you're in the area. Two down, runner at first. Cash right over top of the plate as he takes a strike. Well, the Reds have won 32 and 27. The Expos 26 and 32. They're 6 under. Pitch is low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Jack with a stretch. The runner goes. The pitch is taken. Here's Plummer's throw down to second, and they got him. Davey takes Bill's throw, and a good one it was to nail the would-be stealer Larry Parrish. No runs, 1 hit. No errors and nobody left. We move to the third, where the Expos lead the Reds 1-0.
Nashville, Ohio, and Wiseman Appliance in Crooksville, Ohio.
Wound up at second. Griffey walked, but Morgan struck out. Dreesen hit a fly ball to shallow left center field, and Foster grounded out. A good play by Larry Parrish, the Montreal third baseman, and that ended the inning. Rogers has struck out 2, has walked 1. We got Morgan swinging in the first inning. Plummer on a called third strike to end the second. First pitch to Bellingham, inside a ball. 5th meeting of the year between Montreal and Cincinnati. The Reds winning 3 out of 4 in Cincy. 1-0 delivery. Down low, and it's 2 balls, no strike. Rogers, his last 2 starts here at Olympic Stadium, quite successful, shutting out St. Louis 2-0 on just 1 hit on June the 3rd, and Atlanta 6-0 on 5 hits June the 8th. 2-0 delivery, a strike called, 2-1. Rogers bidding to become the 3rd 9-game winner in the National League. He's 8-4 at the moment. His 2-1 delivery to Bellingham swung on and fouled. The count evens 2-2. Bellingham, Rose, and Griffey here in the 3rd inning for the Reds. An excellent crowd on hand here at the Olympic Stadium. All right, the 2-2. Swung on, chopped slowly, and Jack can't run, of course. Parrish makes an easy play. Chopped slowly, third base side. Parrish playing deep, had to charge hard, but threw Bellingham out easily. A 1 away, and here's Pete Rose. Pete, we said, reached on the arrow by Rogers in the first inning. Pete owns a .323 batting average with 3 home runs and 26 RBIs. Here at Olympic Stadium, they flash the picture of each player on the scoreboard in straightaway center field. Rogers looking into Carter, the pitch. That's a strike on the inside corner, and he asked Billy Williams to check the baseball, and Bill says, no problem. 0-1. He's with 20 doubles. He's second in the league to Warren Cromartie. Cromartie with 22. Swings a ground ball just off the first baseline foul. Count goes 0-2 now to Rose with 1 away. Well, I tell you, Sparky and Shep and Nixon and Sugar, myself, all came out in a cab about 3:30, and we must have walked a mile before we found out where the clubhouse was and how to get to it. The 0-2, missing low and outside, and I think Carter and Rogers both wanted that pitch. 1-2 now to Pete. A lot of cement here, I'll tell you. Everything is, well, would you call it cement gray? 1-2 delivery, swung on, fouled out of play to the left. The count holds the ball, 2 strikes to Rose. He's away from the plate, now steps. Now he changes his mind. Now he's back in. 1 out, bases empty. Montreal leading 1-0, 3rd inning. Rogers delivers. Rose swings, and that's a bouncer back to the mound. Taking it, Rogers, and he throws a strike to Perez this time. A 2 out now, and Ken Griffey will be the batter. Griff walked in the first inning. That walk for Griffey was his 23rd of the year. Joe Morgan has walked 44 times, and then comes Rose with 30 walks. Rogers works. Griffey takes. Breaking ball high. Outfield straight away. The pitch. Swung on, line drive, fire, can't get to it. The long throw, not in time. Chris, leaving his feet, got his glove on it, and the ball hit in the heel of the glove and bounced out. That'll be a base hit for Kenny Griffey, a hard liner, Chris Spire, who jumped as high as he could, got his glove on it, but couldn't control it. With 2 away, we got Griffey at first base, and Joe Morgan the batter. Joe struck out in the first inning swinging. Morgan a .292 batting average, 9 homers, 31 RBI. Throw over to first, and Griffey steps back. Griffey's had 13 stolen bases this year. Has been caught 3 times. Rogers sets, goes again to first, and that one gets by Perez. Hits the umpire, but allows Griffey to move on to second base. Ball getting through Perez and hit Bob Engel, the first base umpire, and slowed it down. And had it not, Kenny might have well been able to make it around to third. So that'll be another error charged to Rogers, and that's his second of the ball game. So we got Griffey now at second base with 2 away, and the first pitch is yet to be made to Joe Morgan. The AstroTurf here in Olympic Stadium is the same as Cincinnati's, but of course just installed not too long ago. Pitch up high, gets away from Carter, but not far enough for the bench of Griffey, and now Carter's going to go out and talk with Steve Rogers. Talking about the turf here, of course, the Olympic track, as Marty pointed out, still outlined behind home plate and all around the field. And it's been covered by AstroTurf. You can go right along the seams and pick up the Olympic track. But the turf here is much softer than what we have in Cincinnati, simply because there's new techniques in putting it down. Rogers ready. And the 1-0. Morgan swings and hits it by Cash. Off his glove. Griffey will score. Chasing it is Chris Spire. Nobody at second base, and Morgan makes a turn and holds right there, and we've tied it up. For Morgan, his 32nd RBI. Cash, off to his right, made a dive for the ball, got the tip of his glove on it. It rolled on into shallow center where Chris Spire chased it down. So that, at the moment, an unearned run, but a run, our second hit of the inning, and the second hit of the game for the Reds. Morgan, as we pointed out, is 32nd RBI, and here's Danny Dreesen. First pitch outside to Dan, a ball. Dreesen, fly ball to shallow left center field in the first inning, one that Warren Cromartie came quite a ways on. Danny, a .272 batting average with 6 homers and 36 RBI. Rogers to the belt, checks Morgan, throws over there, and Joe steps back. A 1-1 score. 2 outs. Morgan at first base. Ball, no strikes to Dreesen. Rogers looking into Gary Carter, has the sign. And delivers. High outside again, and goes 2-0 to Danny. The Reds have signed their number 1 draft choice in the free agent draft. Bob Wenger, an 18-year-old third baseman from Newhall, California. Check swing on an off-speed pitch, flip throw down to first. Morgan back, calls strike, and it's 2-1. Joe Bowen, the director of scouting for the Reds, speaks fairly highly of the young kid. One of the best bats for a high school boy that his scouts have seen in years. Morgan goes to throw, not in time, and Joe, there with a stolen base, his 23rd of the year. It's outside to Dreesen, and it's 3-1 now to Danny. Now, Jeff Burrows is homered in the first inning at Philadelphia, his 17th of the year. He leads the National League and coming with a man on off Larry Christensen. 3-1 delivery, up high, ball 4. Second walk issued by Rogers, and now with Foster making his way to the plate, we'll pause for station identification. This is the Reds Radio Network.
This is WNNI-FM, Columbus, Ohio. Inviting you to join us for the very best in music every day. 7 days a week at WNNI-FM, Columbus, Ohio. We call it Quad 100.
All right, it'll be George Foster with Morgan at second base, Dreesen at first, and 1 run in. Score tied 1-1. We're in the third inning. Rogers' shutout string here at home is now ended. He delivers to Foster. That swung on and popped up right side. Carter and Perez after Tony there, and he makes the play in foul territory, and that's it. The Reds get an unearned run here in the third inning on 2 hits, 1 Montreal error, 2 runners left on base, and at the middle of the third, the Reds won, the Expos won. Montreal in the third inning will send up the top of the order, Cash, Fire, and Valentine. Cash left the game for the Expos with a walk and eventually scored on Valentine's pop single into center field, a ball that Concepcion appeared to lose above the stadium. Cash with a .291 batting average, 18 RBIs, got 14 doubles and 3 triples. Dillingham has struck out 1 and walked 1. Has allowed the Expos 3 hits. First pitch is swung on and chopped foul. There's Fire on deck. A 2-run homer by Burrows at Philadelphia now gives him the National League lead in RBIs with 53. 1 ahead of Ron Zay. 0-1 is swung on and lined into right field, a base hit. Morgan took a step, but they saw he could not get to it, and that is hit number 4 for the Expos and the first for Dave Kay. All right, Chris Fire steps in. Chris singled to center field in the first inning, a ball that Dave Concepcion came very close to getting. Cash was running and moved all the way around to third base on the base hit. Reds outfield shading Spire around to the right. Dillingham the stretch. He delivers. Spire takes a curve. It's just low ball. Jack takes off a sign from Plummer. Now the stretch. The pitch. Cash goes. It's swung on a ground ball. That's in the right field on the hit and run. Cash will move on to third, and the first 2 have reached here in the third inning for the Expos. On the hit and run, Chris Fire gets his second base hit of the ball game. A perfectly executed hit and run play. Number 5 for Montreal. Runners first and third. Ellis Valentine steps in. Valentine went to the plate in the same situation in the first inning and had that pop single to center field to drive in a run, his 32nd RBI of the year. Fire at first lead. Cash at third down the line. Dillingham, the stretch of the pitch. Valentine swings and pops it up again. This time Concepcion's got a bead on it, and he makes the play about 10 feet in fair territory along the left field line. A one out, and here's Tony Perez. Tony struck out in the first inning. Only hitting .287 with 7 home runs and 36 RBI. A good time for a little 4-6-3 or whatever to make it add up to 2 outs. Fire first, Cash at third. Dillingham, the stretch in the pitch. Perez takes it inside a ball, an off-speed pitch. Bill Plummer reminds Jack to keep up on top. Dropping down with his pitching arm. Dillingham has the sign. The stretch and the pitch. Perez swings and he hits it in the hole into left field, a base hit. And that will put the Expos on top by a score of 2-1, the 37th RBI of the year for Tony Perez. 3 hits here in the inning and 6 overall for Montreal. And we're going to have some activity in the Cincinnati bullpen. Warren Cromartie to the plate. Cromartie popped out Concepcion in the first. Looks like Dale Murray will go to the bullpen to start throwing. Cromartie at the plate. He takes outside a ball. Cromartie, as we've pointed out, leads the National League in doubles with 22. 294 batting average with 17 RBI. Dillingham works. Cromartie takes under the knees. It's 2-0. Two balls, no strikes to Warren Cromartie. Fire at second, Perez at first. 1 out. And the Expos have scored a run. Dillingham to the belt. He delivers. Cromartie takes again low, and it's 3 balls, no strikes. Time call now. Bill Plummer going to the mound to talk with Jack Dillingham. Dillingham has walked 1, but he's been behind on quite a few batters here through the first 2+ innings. Plummer now on his way back to the plate. All right, Cromartie back in the batter's box. Outfield playing Cromartie straight away. Dillingham the stretch and the pitch. That's ball 4. Well, Montreal with the bases loaded, 1 out, and it's going to be Gary Carter to the plate. Cromartie walked to pull him up. The inning started off with Cash a single to right, Fire on a hit run single to right. After Valentine popped out, Perez hit one hard through the hole into left field to score Cash, and Cromartie walks to load him up. Jack will take the windup. The Reds infield double play depth, the pitch. Carter takes it low and outside, and Plummer bluffs to throw to third. 1 ball, no strikes. Montreal leading 2-1. Dillingham, the 1-0. Swung on, chopped foul off the third base line. Not even the ball, a strike to Carter. Reds and the Expos in the second of the three-game series tomorrow afternoon. Game time 2:15. Tom Seaver will go to the mound for the Reds. And it'll be former Red Santo Alcala on the mound for the Expos. 1-1 the count. Billingham winds and delivers. Carter takes way outside a breaking ball. Plummer has to backhand it to keep it from getting two. And the count for 2 balls to strike. Bases loaded, 1 away. The 2-1. That's outside, ball 3. 3-1 now to Gary Carter. No place to put him. Billingham to 3-1. Carter swings and misses a fastball. Full count. One away. Of course, the runners will not be on the move. Spire at third base, Perez at second, and Cromartie at first. Jack delivers, and that's swung on and hit into left center field. Deep, going back is Geronimo. Middle of the warning track, he's there and makes the catch. All runners will tag and move up a base. The throw going to third, and it's a 3-1 ball game. Gary Carter on the 3-2 pitch hits it deep to left center field. Geronimo hauling it in the middle of the warning track. For Gary, his 23rd RBI of the year. And a 3-1 lead for Montreal. 2 away now, and Andre Dawson to the plate. Dawson, leading off the second inning, bounced to Pete Rose at third base. Boy, he has really came up since we saw him in the Expos in Cincinnati. He's up to 272. Billingham works to him, and it swung on and grounded to Concepcion at short. Dave throw on to Dreesen, and that's it for the Expos, but they get a couple of runs on 3 hits with no errors and 2 runners left on base, and at the end of 3 innings, Montreal 3, Cincinnati 1. Well, we need 2 to get even with the Expos as we bat here in the 4th inning. It'll be Concepcion, Geronimo, and Plummer. David in the second inning hit a liner to Ellis Valentine in right field. Valentine catching the ball about knee high. David hitting .307 with 3 homers and 23 RBI. Steve Rogers has allowed 2 hits, has struck out 2, walked 2, and has committed 2 errors. The 1 run the Reds have is an unearned run. Rogers waiting on Concepcion to step in the batter's box. David in, and Rogers gets the sign from Gary Carter, and his first pitch to Concepcion on the way, and that misses outside a ball. Sunday afternoon, the pitchers. Here's the 1-0 to Concepcion. Swung on, that's foul right straight back at us. 1-1. Woody Fryman for the Reds, and Stan Bonson, or Dick Williams says it could be Wayne Futsu, who they just acquired from the Philadelphia Phillies. The Barry Foote and Dan Warthen. Tim Blackwell also on deal a catcher. Rogers misses outside. It's 2-1. Outfield straight away to David the pitch. That's ball 3. 3-1 now to Concepcion. He checks with George Scherger, the third base coach. Now turns to call back into the batter's box. Delivers. Concepcion takes ball 4 down low. Third walk issued by Rogers. The other two, one going to Kenny Griffey in the first inning and Dan Dreesen in the third. Geronimo grounded to Spire in the second inning. Chief hitting .292, 6 homers and 25 RBI. Rogers looks over at Concepcion. Now the stretch goes over there, and David steps back. Geronimo's best year as far as home runs is 7 in 1974 for the Reds. Pitch out this time, and it's 2 balls, no strikes, or make up 1 ball, no strikes to Geronimo. Carter trying to guess that Concepcion might be going, and of course he didn't. Geronimo with his best year overall last year for the Reds when he had .307, drove in 49 runs. Throw to first, and Concepcion steps back. Bill Plummer waiting on deck. Rogers again throws to first, and this time Concepcion goes back hands first. Max Rumi, first baseman, of course. Time called now as David wants to clean up just a bit down at first base. Geronimo has a lifetime batting average of .271 in the big league. Third in 185 major league games. All right, we're ready to go. Concepcion back at first. He takes the lead. Rogers sets, again throws over there, and again David's back safely. So Rogers has made just one pitch to Geronimo and thrown over to first base 4 times. He's ready and delivers. The Chief swings and fouls it straight back into the seat. Now it evens 1-1. One ball, 1 strike to Geronimo. Concepcion a good lead at first. Rogers to the belt and delivers. It's swung on again, fouled out of play by Geronimo. 1-2 to count. The Reds, after the series here in Montreal, move on to Philadelphia for 3. They'll be off Thursday of next week, and then the big series, that 4-game series with the Dodgers in Riverfront. Of course, Tom and Seaver will open the series Friday night, a week from tonight. Pitch high, and it's 2-2 now to Geronimo. Concepcion led off the inning with a walk. Third issued by Steve Rogers. He's at first base. Go to first, and David is back. Montreal leading 3-1. The Expos getting a run in the first. The Reds tied it in the third, but the Expos came back with 2 in the bottom half of the third. He's going front 3-1. Rogers ready. He delivers. Concepcion goes. The pitch is swung on, and is it a foul ball? No, sir. Carter dropped it, picked it up, and that is a strikeout. Stolen base for Concepcion. For David, that is his 17th of the year in 19-5. Third strikeout for Rogers. Here's Bill Plummer. Bill called out on strikes in the second inning. Bill with a 163 batting average, 3 RBIs. Rogers ready, and the pitch to Plum is swung on, hit into center field. That might fall, and does, for a base hit. Backing off is Dawson. The throw is cut off by Cash, so we have runners at first and third. with one away. Concepcion had to hold up to make sure that the ball wasn't caught by Dawson. So he's at third base with one out, and Jack Billingham will be the batter. That's the third hit for the Reds off Steve Rogers. We're going to stay out of the double play here and see what Jack will be doing. You might see him bunt. Now he wants to talk with George Serga, the Montreal infield, meeting with Steve Rogers, particularly Cash, Spire, and Parrish. Billingham bounced to Parrish slowly in the third inning, leading off the inning. All right, Jack steps into the batter's box. Rogers checks in with Carter. The stretch and the pitch. Billingham swings. A ground ball is fired. This could be trouble. Cash, one, relay, double play. Oh, the Expos out of it as they turn in a 6-4-3 double play on Billingham. In the inning for the Reds, no runs, a hit, no errors, a runner left on base. Middle of the fourth, Montreal 3, Cincinnati 1. In the fourth inning for Montreal, it'll be Larry Perry, Steve Rogers, and Dave Cash. Perry's had a single to right field in the second inning and was cut down on the steal attempt, Plummer to Dave Concepcion. The Expos have had 6 hits off Billingham. He struck out one, has walked one, make that 2 walks. Walked Cash in the first and Cromartie in the third. All right, Larry Perry steps in to lead it off for the Expos here in the fourth. They lead it 3-1. Billingham winds and delivers. Perry swings and a 2-bouncer to Concepcion at short. Dave on to Dreesen, 1 out. That'll bring Steve Rogers to the plate, and Rogers just went hard to Foster in left field in the second inning. All right, one away, and the base is empty as Rogers steps in. Steve with an even 100 batting average. Had a couple of RBI. Billingham bidding to retire the Expos in order for the first time as Rogers swings on his first pitch and fouls, where Ozzie Virgil, the third base coach for Montreal, picks the ball up. Jack winds and delivers, and a swing and a miss by Rogers. 0-2. Here's the 0-2. That's strike 3 call. The fastball through the heart of the plate. So 2 away, and Dave Cash walks up. Dave has reached both times to the plate and has scored 2 of the 3 Montreal runs. Billingham's second strikeout. Cash, a .291 batting average. With that base hit, it raises it to .294. Jack delivers, and that's blowing inside the ball. Here's the 1-0. Going outside, breaking pitch. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Dave Cash. Outfield around to the right. The 2-0 delivery. Strike call, the fastball through the heart of the plate. 2-1. Check swing. Breaking pitch down low. 3 balls, 1 strike to Dave Cash with 2 out here in the 4th inning. Montreal leading it 3-1. Bellingham delivers. Cash swings and hits it into left field. Foster now coming in a few steps. Pats the glove once. He has it, and that's it for the Expos. And the first time in the game that Bellingham has gotten them in order. Nothing across. After 4 innings here at Olympic Stadium in Montreal, Canada, it's the Expos 3, the Reds 1. Four innings totals, rather, show the Reds with a run on 3 hits, no errors. The Expos, 3 runs, 6 hits, and 2 errors. For Cincinnati in the 5th, it'll be the top of the order to step to the plate and back to the action. Marty Brenneman.
Okay, Joe, we are trailing 3-1 in this ball game as we move to the 5th inning. It'll be Pete Rose to lead things off against Steve Rogers. Rose has reached on a throwing error by the pitcher, 1 of 2 that Rogers has thrown away tonight, and then bounced out 1-3 back in the 3rd. Updating some big league scores in the National League. Games underway at the end of 2.5. Houston leads New York 1-0. Floyd Bannister on the mound for the Astros, and Pat Zachary making his first start for the New York Mets, a club that has won 11 out of its last 16. Atlanta and the Phillies are tied at 2-2 at the end of 2. Burrows a 2-run blast for the Braves. Hebner a solo shot, number 6 for the Phillies. While late games will have the Cardinals at San Diego, Denny against Jones, the Cubs at L.A., Dick Series, division leaders meeting, Krukow against Hooten, and Pittsburgh at San Francisco, Royce against Curtis. Here's Rose, and the first pitch is a curve low for ball 1. Steve batting .321 has had 3 home runs and 26 runs batted in. Swings and fouls, and the count evens to him at 1 ball and 1 strike. Reds threatened in the 1st inning and could not score. Had a 2-out threat going, 1-out threat going in the 4th inning when Billingham hit into the double play. Rogers 1-1 to the plate, and that's way inside as Pete jumps off the plate, 2-1. Rose hoping to get things started for the Reds here in the 5th inning. He swings, hits one down the left field line, curving away from Cromartie and going foul. Well down into the left field corner alongside the .325 marker. Rose a long foul ball, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes on him. Well, you know, it's getting nearer to the time when the Reds and the Dodgers meet again. The Dodgers' number 1 scout, their advanced man, Ed Liberator, here for this series, and also will be catching the Reds in their 3-game set against the Philadelphia Phillies. 2-2 the count, the pitch. That is strike 3 call. Rose knew it. Rogers got him looking at a pitch away to pick up his 4th strikeout. 1 away for Ken Griffey, who has been on both times tonight. He walked in the 1st inning and then had an infield hit in the 3rd, and has scored the only Cincinnati run to date. Cincinnati hits in the game, one by Griffey, one by Morgan in the 3rd. Joe got the RBI single. Griffey fouls it away, and then the 4th inning single to center by Bill Plummer, while the Expos have generated a 3-run, 6-hit offense against Jack Billingham through 4 turns. Rogers waiting for Griffey to get back in the batter's box. Here's a pitch. Breaking ball, stays upstairs. 1 ball and 1 strike. Kenny hitting .331, and that base hit he had back in the 3rd was his 81st hit of the season. Low, ball 2, and the 81 figure the same as the man who went into tonight's play leading the National League, Pittsburgh's Dave Parker. He also has 81. So Griffey coming off of a Super 76 campaign and having another big year here in 77. Swings, hard smash right at Perez. Tony will go to the bag to get the out. They're 2 away. It'll bring up Joe Morgan. This reminder, All-Star balloting is now underway and runs through the 4th of July. Be sure to cast your All-Star vote this year. Ballots are available at Riverfront Stadium, at Reds branch ticket agencies, and at most stores where Gillette products are sold. Morgan, after striking out in the first, singled a run across in the third to pick up his 32nd run batted in. Rogers trying to retire the side in order. Fly ball hit into shallow center, coming hard as the center fielder Dawson. Ball falls for a base hit. Morgan with a 2-out single, and we'll pause for station identification on the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network.
True Grit, Pinto Bean for Black-Eyed Peas. All part of the country at TJ's, 3080 Cleveland or 1385 Parsons. TJ's Country Place.
This is WMNI-FM, Columbus, Ohio.
Danny Dreesen stepping in. He's a tie-and run here as Morgan has slammed a 2-out single to center. Reds now have 5 hits off Rogers, and Morgan has 2 of them. Joe goes. The pitch is cut on, roped into right field, hit. Morgan takes a turn, coming on to third. Ballantyne quickly returns his throw to the infield, and the Reds posing a 2-out threat. Morgan running on the pitch, and Dreesen lines a single into right field, and it appears that Joe Morgan might have pulled a muscle. Joe comes off the third base bag, and he's mad, and now trainer Larry Starr is out to check him out, along with manager Sparky Anderson. Might be a hamstring pull. Joe grabbing the back of his right thigh as he bends now at the waist, and well, we can only hope this will not be a serious injury, but Morgan grabbing the back of his right leg and now walking around to see how it feels. But he hit that bag at third and immediately called time and was very upset. And it's pretty obvious now that suffering some pain, and just have to wait and see whether or not he's going to remain in the ball game. Grabbing the back part of his right leg up behind his right thigh, and that's usually indicative of a hamstring pull. Sparky Anderson coming back to the dugout along with Larry Starr, but that will be a situation that'll bear watching the rest of the game. Morgan's going to stay in. Back-to-back 2-out hits keeps it going for Foster. George is due with 2 on and 2 out. He grounded out to third in the first inning, hit it hard. Parrish made a nice play, and then with 2 on and a run home in the third with 2 out, he popped up first pitch hitting to Tony Perez. Reds playing behind tonight. Trail 1-0, tied it up, and then Montreal broke the tie with 2 runs in the third. We're in the top of the 5th. Foster takes a strike on the outside corner. Rogers' pitching so far has stranded 5 runners. That one bounced up there, and a nice play by Carter. Gary moving quickly off to his right to knock the ball down as it rolled back into foul fair territory, but his play kept Dreesen from moving on to second base. 1 ball and 1 strike. Morgan leading at third, Dreesen at first, 2 down. Rogers stretches and pitches. Foster swings, high fly ball, hit back into deep left field. Back Cromartie, and Foster has hit number 16. A high towering 3-run home run to left field by George Foster as he touches them all. And on that swing of the bat, the Reds jump out in front 4-3.
Marty, that was looked like a hanging breaking pitch of some sort, and of course, that gives George now 52 RBIs and 16 home runs, so he's 1 behind in each department at the moment, according to what 2 behind, 1 behind Jeff Burrows, who has 17 now.
And he continues to swing that bat. We gave you those statistics during the first time up for George. He's now knocked in 30 runs in, well, about 21 and a half ball games, to be precise about it. Here's Concepcion, a high inside fastball to him. Well, George Foster becomes the first Cincinnati Red to hit one out of Olympic Stadium. David with a grounder to shortstop. Spire lays back. He plays and he throws, and the inning is over. But as far as Steve Rogers is concerned, 1 out too late. The Reds get 3 runs on 3 hits, and all the offensive production coming after the first 2 men had been retired. The end of 4 1/2, Cincinnati 4, and Montreal 3. Up a run we are as we move to the bottom half of the 5th inning. Foster plays long ball for the 16th time, with Morgan and Dreesen on base to make it 4-3 our side. And now here in the 5th inning, Chris Spire, who has faced Billingham twice tonight and is base hitting both times. The Expos shortstop will lead it off. Batting .256. Each club with 6 hits. Montreal has committed a pair of errors, and both of them have been of the throwing variety by the pitcher Rogers. First pitch to Spire is low. Billingham pitching a struggling first 3 innings, retired the side in order in the 4th, and now gets one over the call strike. Count even to Spire, 1-1 with Valentine and Perez due to follow. Curve is outside, ball 2. Jack trying to win his 8th game of the season and become the winningest pitcher on the Red staff. Freddie Norman, of course, also has 7. There's ball 3, low and outside, 3-1. It looks like we've got Ray Knight loosening up down in the Reds bullpen, which might mean that Joe Morgan might be coming out of this ball game. He's out at second base right now, but Ray Knight goes down to begin loosening as Spire fouls back the 3-1 pitch. Joe grabbing back behind his right thigh, trying to loosen that thing up. Here's a pitch, swung on and line drive to second. Joe diving to his right and picked it off. Morgan taking away a possible third base hit from Chris Spire, and now time call as Coach Larry Shepard comes to the mound to talk with Jack Billingham and Bill Plummer.
Marty, I think really Shep going out to talk to Jack certainly about a little bit about pitching. Maybe we might see after Shep heads back to the Reds dugout, see Ray Knight replace Morgan down at second base. Boy, you just don't want to take any chances at this time of the year on making things worse, and let's see if that's what's going to happen. Maybe not. Shep on his way back to the Reds dugout, and apparently Joe is not going to come out of the ball game at this particular time.
Ellis Valentine stepping in as Spire is lined out. Valentine has singled a run across and popped out to shortstop. He swings and grounds to the left of Rose. Pete comes up firing, and that's out number 2. So Jack Billingham might be getting it together. He has retired 7 batters in a row.
Marty, we might, just watching the 2 pitches, might see Jack go more to his fastball because he's having trouble with his breaking pitch, and we might see more fastball.
Here's Tony Perez, who knocked in a run in the 3rd. Tony 1 for 2, struck out his first time in. The curve is way outside, and so you're right. He is really having problems getting that breaking ball over. Reds on top, 4-3 as the Expos bat in the 5th. Fastball foul back. Montreal got 1 in the 1st, 2 in the 3rd. They stranded 4 men on base in acquiring 6 hits. We got 1 in the 3rd and 3 in the 5th. And we've left a total of 5 men on. Strike is called. Perez looking at a fastball down, and he's behind on the count at 1-2. The kick and the pitch, breaking ball low, 2-2. Well, Ray Knight has finished playing catch down in the Cincinnati bullpen. Breaking ball slapped hard. Rose comes up. He stumbled, recovers, and throws him out. Nice play. The inning is over, and the side is retired 1-2-3. So we move to the 6th inning. The Reds 4 and the Expos 3. With Joe Nuxall, Marty Brenneman back at Montreal's Olympic Stadium, we move to the 6th inning. The Reds, who have been playing extremely well in one-run games of late, are involved in one right here tonight. 4-3 we lead it as we prepare to send Geronimo, Plummer, and Billingham to the mound against Steve Rogers. Geronimo 0 for 2. He's bounced to shortstop. That was in the second. A 4th inning strikeout swinging.
Center fielder, Cesar Geronimo.
Rogers has struck out 4. He has walked 3. Now Geronimo surveys the landscape as he stands in to get this 6th inning underway. Reds are trying to beat Rogers for what would be the second time this season. Here's a pitch to the plate. Swing and a miss. That one high and inside as the Chief bends away from the pitch. Geronimo batting .289. Really can't swing the bat much better than the Reds as a team have been swinging it lately, and certainly, particularly speaking, in this 5-game winning streak. 2 balls and a strike. Latest statistics released by the National League on games played through Monday had the Reds hitting .283 as a team. That since has gone up 2 points. Ball 3. Cardinals, .290 team batting average. Lead the National League. The Cubs at .279 are third, then the Dodgers. They dropped off a bunch. The team average has slid down to .277. Swing and a miss, full count. Rogers falling behind 3-1 and fires in the fastball. Plummer in the on-deck circle. Rogers picks up the sign from Carter, and here's his payoff. That is ball 4, and both Carter and Rogers thought they had Geronimo struck out on the pitch down and in to the left-handed batter, but Billy Williams says ball 4, and that's the 4th allowed by Steve Rogers and brings Plummer to the plate. Indianapolis against Iowa tonight at the end of 2 innings of play, 0-0. Well, we think back to last night. We saw some fine pitching from some youngsters. Shane Rawley, the young man we picked up in the Santo Alcala trade from Montreal, and then Angel Torres came on, pitched 3 innings of hitless ball. Plummer a hit in 2 times up. He singled back in the 4th. He swings and he misses. We're talking with Dave Van Horn, one of the Montreal broadcasters tonight, and we're commenting on the fine work we saw from Raleigh last night. He struck out 5, did not walk a batter, and holding the Reds to a run on 4 hits in 5 innings. And he said up until 11 o'clock on the day that club broke camp in Daytona Beach to come north, he had the club made. Here's a soft line drive base hit to left field. Geronimo moves to second, and the Reds are trying to stir something up here on a base on balls and a following single to left field by Bill Plummer.
We have an update, Marty, on that thing on New York at Boston, and the 4 runs that the Red Sox scored in the 1st inning all were home runs. We find that Rick Bertelson also hit one, his second. So Bertelson, Lynn, Scott, and Fisk all homered in the 1st inning.
Consecutive home runs?
No, apparently they certainly would have sent it over the line, but they did have back-to-backs for the 8th time this year.
Who was pitching for the Yankees?
The Fish.
My goodness.
That's Fish Hunter.
That's getting smoked pretty good.
But it's tied now 4-4.
Yeah. Here's Billingham squaring to bunt, drops it off third base side, a dandy bunt. Played by Parrish. He throws on to Cash at first base. Jack with an outstanding bunt, moving both runners along and bringing to the plate Pete Rose, and we're going to be getting some activity underway in the Montreal bullpen.
But the one hit the third baseman, Pete Rose.
So the Reds leading by a run have him at second and third. One man out, and Rose will try to get him home. Will McInerney, the left-hander, loosening up, and Joe Kerrigan, the right-hander. Geronimo at third, Bill Plummer at second. Infield will be playing in. Rose is 0 for 3. Rogers struck him out in the last inning as a leadoff batter. Now the stretch and now the pitch. That's high for ball one. Rose, who had the game-winning base hit against the Philadelphia Phillies 2 nights ago. And the 1-0 delivery to him is again outside, ball 2, 2-0. Geronimo walked as Rogers missed close with a 3-2 pitch. Plummer then hit a soft line drive single to left field, and Billingham bunted them both along. Kerrigan and McInerney get ready. Rogers kicks and throws. Rose swings and fouls off the left field line and out of here. 2 balls and 1 strike. Ken Griffey on deck as Rose stands away from the plate and now moves back in. Infield all the way around. Parrish, Spire, Cash, and Perez playing up. Now the 2-1 pitch. That is again foul out of play, and Rogers has come back to even things up against Rose at 2-2. Outfield pretty much straight away. Dawson shading Pete maybe 2 steps toward right field. And the 2-2 pitch. That's ball 3, high and outside. Reds going out in front in the last inning when Foster hit a 3-run home run to left field. And now threatening to widen the lead here in the 6th with second and third occupied and only 1 out. The 3-2 pitch. Swung on, hit down the right field line, a base hit. That ball goes to the corner. Geronimo is home. Here comes Plummer. Right fielder having problems finding the ball. Pete takes a turn and will come on into third base sliding. Valentine having the ball run on him down in the right field corner. As Rose bang one between Perez and the bag, and 2-run score to give the Reds a 6-3 lead. Dick Williams, the Montreal manager, making the slow walk toward the mound, and I would suspect that that's going to be it for Steve Rogers.
Marty, I'd almost bet we'll see Will McInerney to face Ken Griffey, and Williams has already given the sign down to the bullpen.
In the 4th inning for Toronto off Ross Grimsley. Here's Griffey, and the pitch to him is swung on and grounded to first. Rose cannot score, and Perez goes to the bag to retire Kenny. 2 out as Griffey goes at the first pitch. Bounces out to Perez drawn in, and now the Expos infield will drop back to normal depth as Morgan comes up. Morgan has struck out single twice. He has knocked in a run and has scored 1. McInerney with a wind and the pitch, and Morgan with a swing and a fly ball and into shallow right. Valentine running hard, base hit. In to score comes Rose, and it's 7-3 Cincinnati. Valentine playing back deep in right field for Joe, and he dumps one in front of him. Ellis came in hard and then elected to play it safe to be sure that ball didn't get by him, and another RBI single for Morgan, who will now leave the game. Ray Knight.
Ladies and gentlemen, fifth runner for the Reds, the yellow vest side, number 25,
Ray Knight running for Joe Morgan, and Morgan out of the game now. Danny Dreesen, the batter. Just been informed by our Director of Public Relations on the road trip with us, Jim Ferguson, that Morgan suffered a slight sprain of the right hamstring. Here's a pitch that gets through Gary Carter. Ray Knight goes to second, takes a turn, and will stop right there. A slight strain of the right hamstring for Morgan, and now being taken out of the game. As we got it from the Reds clubhouse, not a great deal of concern was expressed over the injury. In fact, when we were informed of it before Joe was taken out, the word was that they were going to play it by ear. Should the Reds build up a big lead, Joe would be taken out, and now, of course, he is out. 2 balls and no strikes. Wild pitch has been charged to Will McEnany. That puts Ray Knight out at second base, and a count of 2-0 on Dreesen. Danny has flied out, walked, singled, and scored a run. Swing, line drive, base hit left field. Ray Knight rounds the bag, gets a green light. Here comes a throw to the plate. It is not going to be in time, and offline. And the Reds now lead by 5 as Dreesen moves to second on the throw to the plate. We'll pause now for station identification on the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network.
Come celebrate the King's birthday. Throughout the month of June, King Henry is offering the special rate of $6.95 per person. It's the King Henry Dinner Theater. Call 221-4211 for reservations. This is WMNI-FM, Columbus, Ohio.
Well, the Reds enjoying a big 4-run 6th inning. And here's a guy who started us on the road back in the last inning with a 3-run home run to left field, George Foster. He's the 8th man to hit. McEnany has faced 3 batters, retired Griffey, but has given up hits to Morgan and Dreesen. Foster looks at the pitch down low, ball 1. McEnany checking in with Carter, stretches and pitches. Bouncing ball by the mound. Cash charges, plays and throws to first, and that's the inning. But for Cincinnati, 4 runs on 4 base hits. No errors and 1 man left on, and at the end of 5 1/2, the score, Reds 8 and Montreal 3. We lead by 5. The Expos come calling in the home 6th inning. Warren Cromartie, a fly ball and a walk in 2 times up, swings on the first pitch, grounds it wide of first, bobbled by Dreesen, throwing, and got the out to Billingham. Danny had the ball pop out of his glove as he came up to throw, and Jack coming off that mound quickly to cover the bag against a young man who can run, and a close out play at first base. Gary Carter, who sacrificed fly to run home in the 3rd inning. Billingham has now set down 9 batters in a row. Cromartie, who just bounced out, was the last to reach on him with a 3rd inning walk. 8 runs on 10 hits for the Reds, 3 runs on 6 hits with a pair of errors for Montreal. Swing and a foul. The pitching line on Steve Rogers, 5 1/3 he worked, giving up 8 hits and 7 runs. 6 of them were earned. He struck out 4 and walked 4. Ray Knight now playing second base after Joe Morgan was lifted. As Knight pinch ran for him in the top of this inning. That pitch is inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, the Reds rolling right now to what would appear to be their 6th consecutive victory, and that would be the longest winning streak of the year. Again inside, 2-1. Talk about the stadium itself. The broadcast facilities are simply outstanding. Right behind home plate, but actually we are just a bit off to the right of the plate, and at times on balls hit to the right side, a little bit difficult to gauge the distance. Here's a line shot, single to left. So Billingham's streak stops at 9 straight as Carter base hits him to left field. We'll bring up Andre Dawson.
outside.
I'd like to send along our best for tonight to Reds fans listening on WMVO in Mount Vernon, Ohio, WLBJ in Bowling Green, Kentucky, and WTRE in Greensburg, Indiana. Tommy Walker, a right-hander, now begins to throw for Montreal. As we start to get closer to that number 9 spot in the Expos order. 1 out with 1 on. Dawson has bounced to third and grounded out to shortstop. The pitch. Curve is high and tight. Infield, a double play depth as Carter leads at first. Reeson playing behind him. That pitch is high. Ball 2. 2-0. Dawson taking a look down to third base coach Ozzie Virgil. Checking out whether or not he's going to be able to swing away if this pitch is in there. 2 balls and 1 strike. And now Dale Murray is heading back to the Cincinnati bullpen. Strike is called. We mentioned Tom Seaver will be pitching tomorrow afternoon in the middle game of the series, and the first start for young Paul Moscow will be coming Tuesday night against the Philadelphia Phillies. Swing and a miss. Throw down to first base, and they almost had him coming back. Plummer with a quick throw to Danny Dreesen, and boy, Gary Carter came within inches of being nailed.
Doesn't that seem strange? Pitching tomorrow for the Reds?
Seems strange, I'll tell you.
Seaver?
To be very honest about it, it was a thrill to see him come into the clubhouse tonight. And I guess there's a little boy in all of us, but boy, when he walked in, very hard to believe that Tom Seaver was a Cincinnati Red.
I'm still not sure. I want to see him on the mound.
Well, I noted the number on the back of his uniform as he put it on tonight. I want to congratulate you, big guy.
I ain't wearing it no more, am I?
Here's a foul ball. They even hold the count even at 2-2. I would have campaigned for you.
You know, they said Tom ran out on the field. I guess the pitchers are running, and Riffy yelled at him, said, "Ain't nothing." Tom says, "I'm built like him."
Oh. 2-2 pitch. Just below the knees, and the count is full. Well, they clamored around him in mass as he came in. Everybody was wondering what time he was going to be flying in from New York, and actually the club was already out here when he got to the ballpark roughly at 5:30 or 5:45 tonight. Here's a ground ball to short. Concepcion deals to Knight. Knight deals to Dreesen. That's a double play. Reds turn their first of the night. And the 6th inning for Montreal is history. No runs, a hit, and through 6 complete. The Reds lead in this ball game by a score of 8-3.
All right, Marty. Tom Walker becomes the third pitcher used by the Expos tonight. This will be his 6th appearance. He's won none, lost 1. He's worked has an earned run average of 10.56. 7 2/3 innings, has allowed 9 hits, has walked 2 and struck out 9. The Reds lead it by a score of 8-3. Walker will be facing Concepcion, Geronimo, and Plummer here in the 7th inning.
Ladies and gentlemen, on walking here to make now for the Expos. Now, pitching for the Expos, they will say, number 60, Tom Walker. Batting for the shortstop, Dave Concepcion.
Walker was in both games of the doubleheader last Sunday in Cincinnati. Also appeared in the Friday night game. Working 1 inning, allowing a run in that Friday night game. Allowed 4 runs in the second game of the doubleheader Sunday. Also worked in the first game an inning. All right, he's ready to work to Dave Concepcion. The first pitch, a fastball high and outside. The Reds with 10 hits in the game, 8 off Rogers, 2 off McKinnon. Outfield straight away for David. Walker delivers. It's swung on and chopped foul. 1-1. All the strikes are counted Concepcion. The pitch. Curve outside. 2 balls to strike. Bill Atkinson, the right-hander, loosening up down in the Montreal bullpen. A wind the pitch. That swung on, and a 2-bouncer deep at third. Parrish. Long throwing, got him. 1 away, and Geronimo to the plate. Geronimo 0 for 2 and a walk. He grounded out to short in the second inning, struck out in the fourth, walked in that 4-run sixth, scored one of the 4 runs. Bill Plummer moves on deck. Walker's curveball is just high. Ball 1. The attendance tonight, 26,284 here at Olympic Stadium. Geronimo swings on a fastball and fouls it straight back. Count evens out at a ball a strike. 26,284 the attendance. 1-1 on the way. Check swing and a strike 2 called in the inside corner. Walker in front, a ball 2 strikes to Geronimo. He delivers. It swung on and looped into left field, coming hard pro Marty, but he can't play it. He has to let it bounce, and Geronimo has his first hit of the ball game, and hit number 11 for the Reds, first off Tom Walker. And here's Bill Plummer, and Bill 2 for 3 tonight after being called out on strikes in the second inning. Bill singled to center in the fourth and singled to left in the sixth. Plummer also scored one of the 4 runs. Bill's batting average now up to 192. He takes high and inside a ball. Plummer came into the game at a 163 batting average. One ball, no strikes. Throw over to first. Geronimo is back hands first. Walker ready, delivers. Plummer looks high and inside. 2 balls, no strikes. Bill Atkinson, a right-hander, throwing in the in the Montreal bullpen. On the way, up high, and 3 balls, no strikes now to Plummer. 1 out. Geronimo at first base. Billingham on deck. Jack, the big sacrifice bunt in the 6th inning. Move runners into a scoring position where Pete tripled to right field to drive 2 in. Both Geronimo and Plummer. Pitch to Plum, down low, ball 4. The runners now at first and second with 1 out, and Jack Billingham, the batter. Jack 0 for 2. He grounded to third in the 3rd inning, hit it to a 6-4-3 double play in the 4th, and then the sacrifice bunt in the 6th. Harry Carter now out to talk to Tom Walker, and Chris Pryor now comes in from shortstop to talk to him. Pete Rose moves to the on-deck circle. Spire back to his position at shortstop, and Billingham steps in at the batter's box, and Walker gets the sign from Carter, starts to come to the stretch, and now apparently some difficulty in sign. Carter now back behind the plate. Geronimo at second, Plummer at first. The stretch to the pitch, Billingham squares the bunt, throw down to second, and not close at all. Keeps back sliding. Reds leading 8-3. That's 2 big innings 3 in the 5th. That's 3 coming on a 3-run homer off the bat of George Foster, and 4 in the 6th. Walker ready. Billingham squares the bunt and pops it up, and that's behind the plate and onto the screen. 1-1. Runners lead. Walker ready, and his pitch. Billingham squares the bunt. That's going to be a base hit, maybe. Spire has it. Long throwing. They got him. So Jack Billingham almost pulled a Pedro Bourbon act here. Bunting hard, and Spire was able to react to it and go back to his position at shortstop, backhand the ball, and throw Billingham out. So, going to credit Billingham with a sacrifice, but the ball bunted hard by Larry Perry. Play going 6-4 on Jack, 2 away. Geronimo now at third base and Plummer at second. And here's Pete Rose. The scoring, the play goes 6-4 on Billingham. Walker delivers to Rose on the outside corner, called strike. Pete 1 for 4 tonight, but a big one, a 2-run triple in the 6th inning. Pete now with 28 RBIs. That was his 3rd triple. The pitch swung on. That's hit into left center field, but Warren Cromartie over and moving in a few steps. He has it for the final out. For the Reds in the inning, no runs. They hit no errors. 2 runners left on base. In the middle of the 7th here at Montreal, the Reds 8, the Expos 3. Montreal in the 7th inning will send up Parrish, a pinch hitter for Walker, and Dave Cash. Larry Parrish 1 for 2 tonight. He singled to the right in the 2nd inning, grounded to short in the 4th. Looks like Greg Garrett on deck to hit for Tom Walker. Billingham has allowed the Expos 7 hits. He struck out 2, walked 2, and 3 runs, all of them earned. So Larry Parrish to lead it off for Montreal in the 7th. Bill Atkinson will be the pitcher in the 8th inning. First pitch to Parrish in for a called strike. Jack winds and delivers. Perry takes the curve inside. 1-1. Back to the plate. That's high. A changeup, and Perry stumbles out of the batter's box. Jack throwing a changeup over the head of Perry. Now the pitch. Swung on, and a broken bat soft liner to center, and that'll be a base hit. Geronimo plays it. That is hit number 8 for the Expos. And brings Greg Garrett to the plate. Or Wayne Garrett, rather. Wayne Garrett to hit for Tom Walker. Garrett with a 162 batting average, a home run, and 6 RBIs. He's had 1 double, the left-handed batter. Billingham delivers to him. He swings and chops it foul off the first baseline. Dale Murray heads on to the Cincinnati bullpen to start throwing again. Dale's been up a couple of times in the game. Reds with a 5-run lead as Montreal bats here in the 7th inning. 8-3 to score. Parrish at first. Dreesen playing behind him. Billingham delivers. Garrett takes just off the plate. 1-1. Jack has the sign. Is 1-1. That's low and inside in the dirt, blocked nicely by Bill Plummer. 2 balls to strike to Wayne Garrett. Reds and the Expos tomorrow afternoon, 2:15 game time, and then Sunday afternoon also a 2:15 start. Well, we move on to Philadelphia against the Phillies. 3 games down there at Veterans Stadium. Billingham to the belt. He delivers. Garrett takes down low. 3 balls, 1 strike now to Wayne Garrett. Nobody out and Parrish at first base. So Jack having some problems again here in the 7th inning. Pitch to Garrett. A swung on ground ball. Nice diving grab. Flips to Concepcion. They hit the force. Looked like Ray might have lost his footing. Nevertheless, makes the play to get the force. Parrish at second base. 4-6. 1 away, and here's Dave Kay. Cash 1 for 2. Has scored 2 runs. Has walked. Jeff Burrows has hit another home run, his 18th of the year, in the 6th inning with a man on. Burrows has now hit 2 in the game down at Philadelphia. First pitch to Cash inside a ball, and right now the Phillies lead the Braves 5-4 after 6.5 innings. They've had 4 home runs hit down there. The 2 by Burrows, Hebner 1 for the Phillies, and Lazinski hit his 15th with 2 on in the 3rd inning also for the Phillies. Cash swings and fouls, and it's even at 1 ball, 1 strike to Billingham, or to Cash. Houston has packed up 3 more, and they lead New York now by a score of 4-1 after 5 innings. Pat Zachary starting for New York. Swinging a bouncer. Rose can't get to it. Concepcion can. It's on into left field, a base hit. Cash gets his 2nd hit of the ball game. A bouncer to the left side. Pete almost got to it. Davey almost got to it, but gets into left field for a base hit. That is hit number 9 for Montreal. And here's Chris Spire. Runners at first and second, 1 out. Spire 2 for 3. Single in the 1st, single in the 3rd, and popped out to Morgan, or lined out to Morgan, rather, in the 5th inning. He turned in 1 double play tonight. Time for the 2nd. Spire takes outside the ball. Jack ready. Checks the runners, delivers. Spire swings, sends it to right field, going back. Griffey has plenty of room. And Kenny has it, tagging as Garrett, rather, and he'll hold that second base, so just bluffing. So 2 away now, and Henry Ellis Valentine to the plate. Valentine 1 for 3, and an RBI single in the 1st inning. Popped out to Concepcion in the 3rd, and grounded to Rose in the 5th. Valentine, a fine-looking young hitter. Pete Rose really likes the way he stands up at the plate. Pitch to him, a strike on the outside corner. Reds outfield straight away. Valentine at .332 batting average. The stretch to pitch. Curveball just misses. 1-1. Jack has the sign from Plummer. The stretch and the pitch. Fastball, check swing, ground ball. Grecian has it, waves Billingham away, and that's it. Oh, what looked like a few problems for Billingham here in the 7th. Nothing happens for the Expos. In the inning, no runs. They get a hit. 2 hits, rather. No errors, 2 runners left on base. At the end of 7, the Reds 8, the Expos 3. The totals for 7 innings show the Reds with 8 runs on 11 hits and no errors. The Expos, 3 runs. They've had 9 hits and they've committed 2 errors. New pitcher on the mound for Montreal as the Reds bat in the 8th inning. Tell you about him, here's Marty.
Okay, Joe, the new pitcher is a right-hander, Bill Atkinson. 22nd appearance all in relief. He's 3-1 with a .318 earned run average, and he follows Rogers, McInerney, and Walker to the mound. It's been now a 4-pitcher night for manager Dick Williams. Kenny Griffey will lead it off. He, Rose, and Morgan all have extended hitting streaks in this game, and all of them have hit in 8 straight. Griffey with an infield hit in the 3rd inning. He's 1 for 3 with a walk. Kenny taking his time now stands into the batter's box. Atkinson sends in the pitch, and Griffey checks his swing on a slow curve. Got activity in our bullpen. Left-hander Doug Capilla, one of the newcomers, getting in some throwing down along the left field line. Atkinson's 1-0 to the plate. Fastball is too much inside, ball 2. 2-0. Ray Knight on deck, and then it'll be first baseman Danny Dreesen. Here's a swing and a slowly hit ground ball to Perez. Tony Fields takes a left turn, and that is out number 1. Well, the Boston Red Sox have hit back-to-back home runs again tonight. First, it was Carl Yastrzemski in the 7th with 1 on, and now Carlton Fisk has hit his 13th and his 2nd of the game. All told, Boston has hit 6 home runs in that game. And I'll tell you, they are absolutely amazing this season as far as the long ball. Ray Knight up at the plate, and the strike is called. This young man has been absolute money in the bank. He's 5 for 9 in pinch hit situations. 1 ball and 1 strike. Batting .462. He's 6 for 13 with a double, a triple, and 3 RBIs. Atkinson tonight taken outside, 2-1. Reds have had 11 hits in the game. The Expos have had 9. And we lead them 8-3. Swing, ground ball wide of third. Parrish makes a pickup, and he throws him out. Ray bouncing out third to first as we pause again for station identification on the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network.
Hi, this is Steve Cantrell inviting you to join me weekday mornings, 5 to 9 a.m. for the Quadfather Show. Set your alarm before you go to bed tonight on WMNI-FM, Quad 100, Columbus, Ohio.
Outs have been recorded by Bill Atkinson as he works to Dreesen and gets the pitch in there at the knees for a strike. Danny has flied out, walked, and singled twice. He's knocked in a run and has jumped his batting average up to .278. Check swing on the curve inside. One an appeal for the third base umpire, John McSherry. But nope, he did not offer at it. Thus, the count of 1 ball and 1 strike to the batter. Curve is in there. Strike 2 is called. Reds were behind in this game, 3-1. Then Foster homered with 2 on in the 5th. We got 4 in the 6th inning. Ground ball right side. Perez plays and gets the put out. Atkinson retires the Reds in order. So we've completed 7 1/2 innings of baseball. The score: Reds 8, Expos 3. Bottom of the 8th inning about to unfold, and Jack Billingham 6 outs away from recording his 8th win of the year. He has more often than not pitched in trouble in this game, but to his credit, he has kept the Expos off the board since they scored twice in the 3rd inning. although over the last 4, he has limited them to but 3 base hits. Tony Perez will lead off. Tony has struck out, bounced out, and sandwiched in between a third-inning run-producing single to raise his RBI total on the year to 37. He's batting .288. Dillingham with a pitch, and Perez with a take, ball 1. Concepcion pulled deep in the hole at shortstop for the batter. That's inside, ball 2. Capilla still getting in some throwing. Talked to him today upon his arrival, and he came in just shortly after Tom Seaver did. Swung on, fly ball, hit back into deep left center field. Back is Foster, looking, it's off the wall. Rolling back toward the infield, Geronimo knocks it down, and Perez will hold at second with a double. That ball hitting high off the wall in left center to the right of the 375 marker, and this being a 8th home run of the year for Perez by no more than maybe a foot and a half. Here's Cromartie. Expos now get 10 hits in the game. Perez has his second. Cromartie has been shut out in 2 official at-bats. He has walked 1 time. He chops one by the mound. Concepcion fields in front of the back, throwing. Did he get him? Yes. Nice play. Close play at first base and out, says Bob Engel. And Cromartie beefing with the first base umpire. Davey with a super play as he quickly swept in front of the second base bag and in one motion threw a strike to nail Cromartie as Tony Perez advances to third base. Here's Gary Carter. Flied out, a sacrifice fly to run home, and has had a single. Talking with about Capilla, said it's the biggest thrill of his life to be traded to this ball club, and of course, coming from the Cardinal AAA franchise in New Orleans. Swing and a miss by Carter. To you trivia buffs, the Reds now the only team in Major League Baseball and probably the only team in Major League history to possess 2 Hawaiians on the ball club, Mike Lum and Doug Capilla. Doug was born in Honolulu. 1 strike pitch. Curve is low and outside, and that has been the pitch that Dillingham has been fighting with all night long. Perez at third, 1 out. An 8-3 Cincinnati lead as the Expos bat in inning number 8. Curve is hit off the end of the bat, a foul ball, and Carter mad with himself. He was sitting on the fastball, and Tony hung one up in his eyes. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Give Carter room in right center and along the right field line. Outfield, Foster, Griffey, Geronimo playing him deep. Gary trying to draw his club 1 run closer. Swings, line drive, left field, base hit. Perez lopes in from third, and Montreal has its 4th run of the night. Marky Anderson on his way to the mound. And he's going to probably be bringing on Dale Murray, who has been throwing for a couple of minutes. So Jack Dillingham is going to leave, but take nothing away from Jack because he's pitched 7 1/3 valiant, gutty innings in this game. At times, very, very close to disaster, but in most cases, he's been able to get out of the problems, but now the base hit by Carter scores Perez. Jack is out, and Dale Murray comes on to face the club that he has been with, of course, the last couple of years until the off-season trade. Pedro Bourbon now takes over in the bullpen as Capilla sits down. Run is home. 1 man is out. Murray, a 22nd appearance. He carries a 3-2 record to the mound with a 4.75 ERA. Andre Dawson will be the first batter he will have to contend with, and Dawson has not been able to get the ball out of the infield in 3 times, and in the 6th inning hit into a 6-4-3 double play. Here's a pitch, and the take low, ball 1. Each club with 11 hits. The Reds lead 8-4. Murray's 1-0, and that's ball 2 downstairs. Gleason playing behind Carter at first base. Swing at a miss. Dawson going into a deep spin on that pitch, trying to make it 8-6. 1 home run hit here tonight. That one struck by George Foster back in the 5th inning with 2 men on base. Ground ball slowly hit left side. Concepcion's only play will be to first, and they got the out. Big stretch by Danny Dreesen. Despite the difference of opinion among the fans behind first base, no argument from Dawson. He's out, and Carter goes to second. Davey has played simply an amazing shortstop this season, has committed but 2 errors, and as we have pointed out in the past, the Major League record for fewest errors in a season by a shortstop. That being held by Cincinnati native Eddie Brinkman with the Detroit Tigers back some years ago. Parrish has had 2 hits, both singles. Ball is low. Scheduled to bat next is the pitcher, Bill Atkinson. Here's a check swing foul. It'll be out of play. Count even on Parrish at 1 ball and 1 strike. Del Unser, a left-hand batter, is in the Montreal on-deck circle. Murray, in relief of Jack Billingham, has retired Dawson on a ground out with Carter going to second, and now the 1-1 delivery is swung out and missed. One ball, 2 strikes. Dale checking in with Bill Plummer. Checks the runner, throwing, and leaving on the count as he misses downstairs with a fastball. 2-2. Pitch. Here's a chop. Murray has to wait. He gets and he throws, and they get the runner at first base, Parrish, and that's the inning. Montreal gets a run. They got a couple of hits. They leave a runner. So we move to the 9th inning with a score, Cincinnati 8 and Montreal 4. We're in the top of the 9th inning. Bill Atkinson back for his 2nd inning of pitching against the Cincinnati Reds as the Reds lead 8-4 in this game. It'll be George Foster, Dave Concepcion, and Cesar Geronimo. Foster, of course, with that big 3-run homer in the 5th inning. That extended a streak of sorts for the Reds as a team. They have now had at least 1 homer in each of their last 9 games, collecting 16 in the 9 games, counting this one. And on the year, a total of 62 home runs. The Dodgers, the Major League leader in that offensive category, but the Reds are rapidly closing in on them. Foster leading it off. Here's a pitching line on Jack Billingham. 7 1/3 innings. He gave up 4 runs, all earned on 11 hits with 2 strikeouts and 2 walks, and stands to win his 8th game. Foster now with 16 homers and 52 runs batted in. Jeff Burroughs with two two-run homers in Philadelphia tonight. His 17th and 18th, and he now has at least 55 RBIs if he has not knocked in any more than the 2 home runs. Here's a high fly ball to deep center field. Back goes Dawson on the warning track, and leaping, it's out of here. Foster with a home run to center field. On the first pitch, served up by Bill Atkinson. George, a 2-home run night, and the Reds lead 9-4. He is swinging an amazing bat. With the 4 RBIs tonight and the 2 home runs, Foster has homered 3 times against the Expos and has driven in 11. Concepcion chops it to the box. Atkinson delivers to Perez, 1 out. Well, Foster on a hitting tear, and it brings back memories of last year when he pretty much carried the Reds the first 3 months of the season before suffering a slump the rest of the way, and still finished off with a fine year. But, boy, he is smoking right now. Batter is Cesar Geronimo. He's 1 for 3 with a walk. He scored a run. Atkinson pitches him inside a ball. High fastball, 2-0. Well, you have to wonder the thoughts that go through Tom Seaver's mind sitting on the Cincinnati bench for the first time, seeing a club produce offensively the way the Reds have here tonight, and this man, of course, making his first start in a Reds uniform tomorrow afternoon. 3-0 now on Geronimo. All the glorious years that Tom Seaver had with the New York Mets, never did he have an offensive team the likes of which he is going to be pitching for now. Call strike. Talking about the Dodger home run figures as opposed to Cincinnati's. L.A. through games of Monday night. There's ball 4. Pitch almost hit Geronimo as it glances off Gary Carter's glove. The Dodgers had hit a total of 70 home runs. And the 2 that Foster has hit tonight give the Reds a total on the year of 63. Plummer, with a couple of base hits and 3 trips, has scored one of the 9 Cincinnati runs, and he stands in with a run home, 1 out, and Geronimo at first. Throw to first base. Talking with the ticket people earlier tonight, they say this 3-game series has been the best advance sale for a series the Expos have had all season long. We've got over 26,000 people here tonight, and would have had many more than that had the weather been less threatening, and expecting a crowd in excess of 30,000 tomorrow afternoon, and certainly with Tom Seaver's appearance, that probably will be boosted somewhat. Plummer looks at a strike. Atkinson 1-1 against the Cincinnati catcher. Billy looking for his third base hit. Atkinson checks Geronimo. Delivers. Swing and a foul. 1-2. Expos in the bottom of the 9th inning are going to be sending up a pinch hitter for Bill Atkinson, then Dave Cash, and then Chris Fire. Talking about the photographers, they're now standing at the near end of the Reds dugout, shooting in and shooting Tom Seaver. He sits on the Reds bench. Here's a pop-up on the infield. Plummer chased the pitch away from him. Perez comes down the line, and Tony makes the play in fair territory. 2 men out. Dale Murray will come to the plate. Reds have scored once here in the 9th inning on Foster's second home run of the evening. Strike is called. Check of the runner, the pitch, curve on the inside, strike two. Murray behind, no balls and 2 strikes. Bourbon still throwing, but now leisurely down in our bullpen. Swing, ground ball, hit to third, fair ball, behind the bag, Parrish with a long throw and gets the out. In the ninth, 1 run on 1 base hit. 1 man left, and after 8 1/2, the Reds 9 and the Expos 4.
You found a place with plenty of space where nothing can go wrong. You're in the mood for fun and good food, and you brought Stroh's beer along.
Charlie, I thought we were going to have a party.
We are, Linda, we are.
But, Charlie, how can we have a party in the middle of nowhere? I don't see anyone around. Who's going to eat all this great food I prepared and drink all this Stroh's beer?
Just watch, Linda. You take 1 ice-cold can of Stroh's beer and...
Don't worry, cause no one's around. Throw a party and you'll be fine. Anywhere, anytime, when fun's on your mind, it's throw a party time.
Look for Stroh's Stay Cold 12-packs or the Stroh case wherever you buy beer. And Stroh a party anywhere, anytime.
It's throw a party time.
The Stroh Brewery Company, Detroit, Michigan.
Reds lead at 9-4. We in the bottom of the 9th inning, and Montreal will be coming with a pinch hitter, Del Unser, a left-hand batter, to hit for pitcher Bill Atkinson. Murray beginning his first inning after relieving Jack Dillingham. Bottom of the 8th inning when, after Tony Perez opened with a leadoff double, and 1 out later, Carter banged him in. Murray was summoned to retire Dawson and Parrish on ground out. Hunter batting .297. 4 homers, 16 runs batted in. Hunter standing away from the plate, looking out toward right field. Davy Cash moving to the on-deck circle. Here's a pitch. Cut on and foul to the screen. 2:15 is the time. We'll start it off here tomorrow afternoon. We'll be on the air with the pregame shows on most of these same stations at 1:45 Cincinnati time. Strike 1 delivery. Cut on and miss. Good breaking ball. So quickly, Murray with a 2-strike advantage on pinch hitter Del Unser. Fastball is up and bounces off the glove of Bill Plummer for a ball and 2 strikes. Seaver will go against Santo Alcala tomorrow, and then Woody Fryman against either Stan Bonson or Wayne Twitchell, and we sort of think it's going to be Twitchell because we were told before the game tonight that Bonson had gone back to the bullpen. Unser is struck out swinging. First punch out for Murray as we go back to the top of the Montreal batting order for Davy Cash. He has walked, single, flied out, and single again. Well, Cash came into this game batting .291. And has had a couple of hits and 3 times up to jack his batting average 4 points. Fastball high. In there for a call strike. 1-1 on the batter. Chris Spire will follow. Swing, foul ball off the right field line. Griffey watches it go into the seat. With Unser batting for Atkinson, his totals on the game: 2 innings, a hit, a walk, and a run. He gave up Foster's leadoff home run top of this inning. 2-2. Murray 2-2ing to Cash. Check swing, foul ball. No question about Montreal's ability to score runs, at least and increased run production over past years. They've certainly helped their offense with the likes of a Dave Cash and a Tony Perez and the hitting of the young outfielder Ellis Valentine. Pitching now is the name of the game for this club. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Murray works, and that's ball 4 low. So Cash becomes a base runner for the 4th time. He has now walked twice. He's had 2 hits. He's the first man to reach against Dale Murray. It'll bring up Spire, who singled his first 2 trips in, but since his line to second and fly to right. Joe Morgan robbed him of a 5th inning base hit. Diving off to his right to spear the line drive. Low for ball 1. I want to remind you to stay tuned on most of these same stations for our post-game programming. Joe Nuttall with the Star of the Game show, and then scores and comments. Here's a ground ball to third. Rose will go to Knight. That's 1. No, Ray dropped the ball. Knight dropped it. Good throw by Pete, but Ray couldn't hang on, allowing Cash to reach safely at second. So rather than getting a force play at second base and making it 2 away in the inning, that'll be an error on Knight, and the Expos have 2 men on for Ellis Valentine. Valentine 1 for 4. He delivered a run home with a first inning single. Ground ball slowly hit. Concepcion plays, throws to Rose. They got the out at third base. Davey fields the ball, fires quickly onto Pete to force out Cash. Davey running right into Rose without benefit of a slide. He was a dead duck. So Spire moves to second. Valentine on at first with 2 down, and here's Tony Perez. On our scores and comments show tonight, we'll be once again checking in with Gillette All-Star Election headquarters to get the latest balloting on the National League All-Star team. Cincinnati Reds figuring very prominently again. Pitched low, ball 1. Perez has single and double, knocked in a run. He jams him on the pitch. He pops him up. First base side, foul territory. Dreesen there. And this one belongs to the Reds. In the 9th inning, Montreal, no runs, no hits, 1 error with 2 men left on. And the final score is the Reds now enjoy their longest winning streak of the year at 6 games. Cincinnati 9 and Montreal 4. We'll be back in just a moment.